It's a lovely day. Welcome to Hope Channel Zambia, media that changes lives. It is time for the main news, and I'm your anchor, Mebo Chitimbiti, alongside George Kalimukwa. Let's look at stories making headlines. ZDA approves $600,000 to boost export-led growth. Eastern Province soybeans farmers bemoan briefcase buyers' low rates. Micro, small and medium enterprise to receive support countrywide. Mamba Batoka Road project boosts energy development in Southern Province. Hope Channel Zambia board reappoint Dr. Chuena Kabanje as country director. This plus more stories coming up shortly.
Hello, my name is Daddy Chitalu, Production Manager for Hope Channel Zambia. In line with the reach 1 billion people with the gospel by 2030, Hope Channel Zambia is looking for compassionate individuals who can donate in kindness or financially to the number and bank details displayed on the screen. Your contribution will help many be reached with Hope Channel's life-changing content. Together, we can reach out to this 1 billion people targeted to be reached to before or by 2030.
Thank you so much for joining us. Let's now look at the news in details. The Zambia Development Agency ZDA has approved $600,000 loan facility to support businesses exporting Zambian products. ZDA Communications Manager Kwali Mfune says $400,000 is earmarked for youth-led export enterprise, while $2,000 will go to SMEs supplying the mining sector. Ms. Mfune has disclosed that funding aims to grow non-traditional export, creating jobs and strengthen local industries and support apiculture, livestock and supplies to the mines, promoting economic diversification and local content. Fund manager Dr. David Chewe says the investment reflects a forward-looking trade strategy to improve young Zambians to compete regionally and globally.
The Zambia Development Agency has approved a new $600,000 loan facility under the Zambia Export Development Fund to support businesses involved in exporting Zambian products. The funding is aimed at helping grow Zambia's non-traditional exports, create jobs, and strengthen local industries. Importantly, $400,000 has been set aside specifically for youth-led export businesses, which demonstrates the fund's strong commitment to empowering young entrepreneurs and helping them access regional and international markets. The remaining $200,000 has been allocated to small and medium enterprise, supplying goods and services to the mining sector. This support will help strengthen local manufacturing, reduce import, and promote Zambian participation in the mine supply value chain. The financing initiative is being implemented under the Zambia Export Development Fund, which is managed by the Zambia Development Agency under a memorandum of understanding between the European Union and the Ministry of Finance and National Planning. The fund supports businesses that have strong potential to grow exports and contribute to Zambia's economic development.
Some unscrupulous people, private buyers, are reportedly buying soybeans at between 4 and 5 kwacha per kilogram in some parts of Eastern Province. Farmers in Kasenengwa district are worried about the low price being offered by the buyers. Dixon Piri, a farmer from Kangombe village, says that says that despite farmers agreeing not to sell their crops to the buyers, some farmers are secretly selling the crops at night.
My briefcase buyers otironda soyabeans pa 4 kwacha 5 kwacha pali lomba teti ndiye talimitika pangana kutosa peleka soyabeans venango kusiyana kwa chikhalidwe otola soyabeans chimbalimbali usiku ogulisa ndiye vala vantu kuti achinje mtengo ochinja lini tezofuna kapena mupeze njira kuti mutithandizireko kwa ma briefcase buyers.
The United Nations Development Programme has partnered with a named financial institution to support micro, small and medium enterprise SMEs in the country. The partnership aims to address challenges facing SMEs, including access to affordable finance, market linkages, technology, and finance literacy. Under the partnership, the financial institution will provide tailored financial solutions, including collateral-free loans and asset financing, as well as capacity building and market access to SMEs. The partnership will help connect suppliers under the program to international supply chain through its import and export solutions. The SMEs contribute 70% of Zambia's GDP and 80% of employment and account of 97% of all businesses in the country.
We are aware that the small and medium enterprises, in fact we need to include micro in bracket, the micro, small and medium enterprises, do account for a large portion of our GDP. The numbers are as follows. I'm aware that the contribution to GDP is at 70%, employment statistics is at 88%, and furthermore, they actually contribute about 97% or account for 97% of business in Zambia. And this information is actually from the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise of New Technology and Innovation, as well as basically the limitations that we face as a result of digital construction and financial literacy. Ladies and gentlemen, as we partner for growth and to maximize impact by deepening collaborations, and this is part of what we're doing today. So today we're excited that we are formalizing a memorandum of understanding that will help bridge some of the gaps that are hampering the inclusive economic growth of SMEs. Through the partnership on the UNDP Supply Development Program, we'll be looking at providing more access to finance for SMEs by offering tailor-made financial solutions that will focus on collateral-free loans and asset financing, which is self-securing.
At the heart of this partnership, of course, lies a very strong commitment to promoting local content, which, as we all know, is a key driver of economic transformation, and particularly at a time when both national renewal and global uncertainty is a reality. And as Zambia continues to consolidate its macroeconomic stability, particularly after the debt restructuring and rebuilding of the investor confidence, as well as in terms of repositioning itself within an increasingly competitive global value chain. The question before us is no longer whether growth will come, but who will benefit from that growth, how resilient this economy is going to be, and how firmly this economy will be anchored within, this partnership will be anchored within our local economy. With the government of the Republic of Zambia's local content agenda, and I want to be specific by mentioning the statutory instrument number 68 of 2026. We hope that this partnership will also make an incisive investment in the national skills architecture for the country, which is really needed to be able to deliver on the local content at scale.
Information and Media Director spokesperson Henry Kapata says works on the 88-kilometer Mamba Batoka Road linking Choma and Sinazongwe districts are progressing steadily, positioning the route as a key driver of Zambia's expanding energy sector. The road serves as a critical corridor supporting operations in Sinazongwe, an area fast emerging as a major energy hub. He added that President Hakainde Hichilema has previously emphasized the importance of timely completion of the project, noting its role in facilitating the movement of equipment, core and manpower to energy products sites. Expansion works at Mamba are expected to double output from 300 to 600 megawatts alongside the development of 100 megawatt solar plant and additional of 600 megawatts by an independent power producer. Government says the project will play a critical role in scaling up energy production, supporting industrial growth and stabilizing power supply across the country as efforts to strengthen Zambia's energy security continues.
On paper, it is a road project. In practice, it is an energy and economic corridor, one that connects Zambia's most significant coal-fired power investments to the national grid and to the country's future. The road runs through Sinazongwe district, southern province, a district that sits on some of the largest sub-bituminous coal deposits in mid-Zambezi Valley. It is the fuel source for what is fast becoming one of Zambia's most important power generation zones. The rehabilitation works are under the supervision of the Road Development Agency. A recent technical assessment at kilometer 41 plus 133 confirmed that the existing culvert at that particular location, a 64-meter structure with an embankment height of 13 meters, is structurally sound and does not require replacement.
Progress, physical progress that is estimated at 46.3% against 67% of elapsed time. 15.3 kilometers of road has been surfaced so far. One permanent bridge has been completed to 95%, and that is out of 3 bridges scheduled for construction.
We now take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Did you know that you've got the right to complain against any radio or television broadcast? Did you also know that every radio or television station has an obligation to respond and address your complaints when aggrieved? The first step is to complain to the station not more than 3 months after the broadcast took place. It is expected that the station will respond reasonably to you, that is within 14 days. If not satisfied, then escalate your problem to the Independent Broadcasting Authority.
We're at Mass Media Complex, Ali King Carter Road, PO Box 32475, Lusaka, or call us on +260 211 250589 or visit our website at www.iba.org.zm. IBA, promoting ethical and professional broadcasting.
Zambia, are you ready?
Thank you so much for still staying with us. We continue with the news. The Center for Environment Justice has called for more inclusive and transparent approach to financing Zambia's energy transition, emphasizing the need to place communities at the center of or investment. The organization says it is critical as the country continues to face energy deficit and climate-related challenges such as droughts. CAJ Programs Coordinator for Environment and Extractives, Jennifer Manangombe, said as just energy transition requires increased investment in community-led renewable energy solutions, particularly in underdeserved rural areas, while ensuring environmental and social safeguards are upheld. She noted that Zambia's heavy reliance on hydropower makes it vulnerable to climate shocks, while dependence on charcoal and biomass is contributing to deforestation and health risks. Ms. Manangombe further stressed that the need for greater transparency and accountability in energy financing, adding that young people must be empowered through skills development, innovation, and access to green financing. She said aligning investment with quality and sustainability will help transform Zambia's energy challenges into opportunities for inclusive growth and job creation.
Zambia stands at a critical moment in its energy transition. With over 80% of our electricity coming from hydropower, we are increasingly vulnerable to climate-induced droughts, load shedding, and energy deficits that affect both our economy and livelihoods. At the same time, heavy reliance on charcoal and biomass for cooking continues to drive deforestation and pose serious health risks, particularly in rural communities. As the country works to expand renewable energy, financing will play a central role. Encouraging progress has been made through initiatives such as renewable energy financing frameworks, solar investments, and green bonds, which are helping unlock capital and diversity for Zambia's energy mix. However, financing the energy transition must go beyond mobilizing resources. It must ensure fairness, accountability, and sustainability.
The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary for Technical Services, Gabriel Pauline, has called on media practitioners to leverage information as a public good in promoting peace and countering misinformation. Speaking in Lusaka during the opening of an international workshop on peace journalism, Dr. Pauline emphasized the media's role in fostering dialogue, amplifying diverse voices, and strengthening social cohesion. He noted that both traditional and social media platforms must be used to support peace-building efforts and combat propaganda, adding that collaboration between government and civil society and the media is key to building resilient communities. Dr. Pauline reaffirmed government's commitment to promoting a culture of dialogue and sustainable peace through inclusive and responsible communication.
I'd like to sincerely commend the HWPL for organizing this timely and meaningful platform that brings together media professionals and peace advocates from around the world. In today's rapidly evolving information landscape, we are witnessing not only an abundance of information, but also a growing sense of fatigue and distrust towards news. In such a context, the role of journalism becomes ever more critical, not merely to inform, but to inspire, to connect, and to guide societies towards constructive dialogue and sustainable peace. Peace journalism, as highlighted in today's workshop, is not simply an alternative approach to reporting. It is a necessary transformation in how we understand and communicate reality. By focusing on solutions, fostering empathy, and amplifying voices of reconciliation, media can serve as a powerful instrument for unity and social cohesion. As a government committed to strengthening local governance and community development, we firmly believe that peace must be embedded not only in policies but also in a narrative that shapes public perception. In this regard, collaboration between government institutions, civil society, and the media is essential. Initiatives such as this workshop demonstrate how much partnership can contribute to building a more peaceful and resilient society.
The Civil Society Elections Integrity Forum, Zambia, has strongly condemned the recent calls by certain stakeholders, urging the European Union and other international partners to suspend funding to the Electoral Commission of Zambia, HCZ. Executive Director Solomon Ngoma says this is unfortunate and unpatriotic, noting that any attempt to impose sanction on HCZ risks undermining Zambia's democratic institution, damaging the country's international reputation, and creating long-term consequences that will take years to repair. Mr. Ngoma has urged HCZ to remain steadfast in its mandate to conduct free, fair, and credible elections. He encouraged the Commission to avoid repeating the mistakes made by the Senegal Independent Electoral Commission, which undermine public trust, saying Zambia must ensure that every qualified presidential candidate is allowed to participate and that electoral process remain transparent and inclusive.
We strongly condemn the recent calls by certain stakeholders urging the European Union and other international partners to suspend funding to the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Such calls are unfortunate and unpatriotic. Any attempt to impose sanctions on HCZ risks undermining Zambians' democratic institutions, damaging the country's international reputation, and creating long-term consequences that would take years to repair. As Civil Society Elections Integrity Forum Zambia, we would like to urge HCZ to remain steadfast in its mandate of conducting free, fair, and credible elections. The Commission must avoid repeating the mistakes made by Senegal's Independent Electoral Commission, which undermined public trust. HCZ must ensure that every qualified presidential candidate is allowed to participate and that the electoral process remain transparent and inclusive. We further appeal to President Hakainde Hichilema to urgently appoint 2 new commissioners following the retirement of Mr. Ari Smwenga. A full bench of commissioners is essential as the country prepares for the general elections in the coming months. On delimitation, we call upon HCZ to ensure that constituency boundaries reflect the realities and the priorities on the ground. While adjustment may be necessary, not every district requires a new constituency. Decisions must be guided by fairness, practicality, and genuine needs of the citizens rather than political expedience. The delimitation exercise and the final constituency list must reflect the will of the Zambian people, as was clearly demonstrated during the constitutional amendment reform process consultation process, where traditional leaders and many stakeholders strongly called for delimitation, but this process must be guided by objective criteria. Delimitation should be based on population growth, economic realities, and geographic landscape size. Anything risk betraying the chiefs and stakeholders and thousands of citizens who made genuine submissions for constituency delimitation. We also appeal to the people of Zambia to remain peaceful, united during this critical period. In particular, we urge the young people to reject any politician who may attempt to use them as instruments of violence or disruption. The future of our nation depends on our youth participation in building peace, stability, and progress, not in fueling division in the country.
Hope Channel Zambia Board has reappointed Dr. Chwena Kawanje as country director for another 5-year term. Kawanje was reappointed during the Hope Channel Board that was held at Golden Peacock Hotel in Lusaka today. And on that note, we conclude our news. But before we go, let's look at stories that made headlines. ZDA approves $600,000 to boost export-led growth. Eastern Province soybeans farmers bemoan briefcase buyers' low rates. Micro, small and medium-sized enterprise to receive support countrywide. Mamba Batoka Road project boosts energy development in Southern Province. Hope Channel Zambia board reappoint Dr. Chiwena Kabanje as country director. And we conclude our news. I've been your anchor, Mebo Chitimbiti, alongside George Kalimukwa. Keep watching Hope Channel Zambia, media that changes lives. It's bye for now.